I'm flipping to the sales aspect, but
Mm,
this is in relation to what you're talking about. I'll tell people, and this is having spent the first 11 years of my career in sales with Xerox and AT&T, that
okay.
salespeople, we tend not to trust salespeople, and the
Yeah.
reason why is because we don't understand what their motivation is for selling to us in the first place.
Mhm.
And so, and then I'll flip this and say that understanding how salespeople think, salespeople. So there are always two scenarios. One is, a salesperson could take the time to understand what your pain points are, understand
Mhm.
you, and how you're affected by whatever circumstances you're having. And so what they've done is, as a result of having done all that research, they've matched your problem to a solution that they can provide to help
Yeah.
you overcome your obstacle. That's going to be incredibly rare. That might be 1% of the time. The other
Yeah.
99% of the time, you know, if you let me interview the person that's trying to sell you, I guarantee you I'd be able to discover that whatever it is they're pitching to you, it's the thing they're being most highly compensated for, and that's why they're
Yes.
pitching it. They're framing it
Yeah.
as if you need this, but in
Mhm.
essence, they could care less whether you need it or not. It's just they know how much money they want to make this year. This product is getting them the highest commission. They're pitching this product, excluding everything else, because this gets them to where they want to go fastest, right? And so that's
Mhm.
why they pitch. And customers understand this, and that's why we don't trust salespeople. So that relates to when you're talking about investment companies reaching out and say, "Hey, I want to give you a loan." Well, I didn't apply for one, so it's like you
Yeah.
obviously didn't do the research to if
Yeah.
I really wasn't in the market and had a need for this, why are you pitching to me? I'm not your ideal customer. So, clearly you don't have my best interest at heart. And unfortunately, there are going to be some people that get taken advantage of. I feel sorry
Mhm.
for those people.
Yeah, I think, a lot of that goes back to urgency. Like,
Mm.
if they can catch you in a moment where they feel like you need a lifeline,
Yeah.
then you're probably gonna ask less follow-up questions, and you're probably gonna look at it as something where, "I need this,"
Yeah.
and that's where some people can end up getting themselves into trouble. That's one of the reasons why I thought this was gonna be
Yeah.
something that more people could not only benefit from now, but come back and watch it when you know that this is something that you're considering more seriously,
Right.
and we're gonna cover things that will help you understand what it is that you're looking at. But, yeah, just off the cuff, I'm more of an account manager. I
Yeah.
wanna work with people after they realize what they invested in, so I'm less of a salesperson, but we're both veterans in a way, to be able to say, "I remember doing sales, and when I did sales, you not only sold it, but you managed it."
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
it's a little bit different where, you can sell something and then they hand it off to someone else, so
Right.
they don't have to deal with any of the ramifications of what they sold someone on, and that's where I run into issues. So
Yeah.
yes. When I was listening to what you were saying, I thought about it almost being more dangerous to me if I talk to someone that I know that they have their own sales goals and they
Yeah.
have their own thing that they're selling,
Yeah.
and they actually took the time to figure out what my situation is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then it's undeniable.
Right.
Like
Right. Right.
anything
Right.
that you're telling me, it's you've done your research to be able to say, well, Sean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
may want funding because you want to be able to do this, 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 and this,
Right.
then it's not something where I can kind of brush that off. It's because
Yeah.
they did their due diligence that is someone that is probably, I imagine their close rate is higher,
Yeah.
but it's still going to be that 1% because there
Right.
aren't a lot of people that want to put in that same level of effort.
Yeah.
There are probably going to be more people that want to test and see, can I catch you at a time where there's urgency so I don't have to do that level of
Right.
work?
Right. 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 Well, sorry
Okay.
to distract us with the sales conversation. I know this is a
No,
conversation
no.
about finance. So
No, no, no. This is something that people need to understand because it's still a business.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're in the business of lending money, but they're also in the business of making money back. And it's not one of those things where they're breaking even. It's not like you go to a friend or something and you say, listen, I need to borrow $20. And the friend says, okay, well, I'll give you the $20. You give me the $20 back when you have it.
Yeah.
They're giving you that $20, but they're expecting to get 25, 30 back. And you
Right.
have to understand that going into it. So when you know that you're being sold,
Yeah.
then you can go into it with the mindset of, I don't need to wonder about what your agenda is. I
Yeah.
need to ask the questions that help me understand, does your agenda align with my agenda? So I think that's really, really important. With that, I would love to talk about debt versus equity because that plays into it a bit. A lot of people lump all money together, but the
Yeah.
obligations are wildly different. That's something where there's good money, there's equity. I think there's blurred lines there. People don't necessarily understand it. I see a lot of stuff online where people will say, "Oh, well, this person's doing this. They must be broke." And it's You don't understand the loopholes that people can work. That's why there's such a big gap between the people that are old money and have been wealthy and have had it forever, and the new money where they have to figure out how to be able to manage it.